Today. Welcome to today's video. I hope you guys are all doing well. Today, I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys on how to stop hating your body. 3 tips to start accepting yourself today. So if you have struggled in the past or are currently struggling with your relationship with your body, then you will want to keep listening. So before we get started, you guys, as always, please say hello if you're watching live with me. And then if you're watching on the replay, just hashtag replay and I will make sure I come back on later and say hi to you then. And then if a couple things before we get started, all our lovely housekeeping things. If you are not already in my community, I have a community called Selflove at Any Size, Accept and Respect Your Body. This is the community where we start to discover that inner healing and that sense of self-acceptance and self-respect that we all desire to have. And so within that community, there is free challenges and giveaways and all sorts of good stuff. So make sure that you're in there. The link is in the description of the video. And then secondly, if you guys are watching this on Facebook this morning, I would ask you to head on over to YouTube when this video is done, type in my first and last name and hit the subscribe button and the bell to receive notifications for each time that I come live. So with that being said, I'm going to make sure that I can see you guys. I'm going to bring up my video without sound. Okay, make sure I can see you guys if you're popping in here. Okay, so before we get started, actually no, we're not going to talk about that right now. So let's get into it. We're going to get into it. So stop hating your body. 3 tips to start accepting yourself today. So let's make sure my sound's working. Before we get started. Oh yeah, we are. Okay, so first of all, one big thing that we all have made the mistake of doing and continue the vicious cycle of going back to is comparing ourselves to others. So raise your hand in the comments if you have ever done this before. So when we are going through life, it's really easy to compare yourself to others. But when you do so, it's easy to focus on what you lack instead of what you have. You might hate your body because it doesn't look like someone else's, or you might feel like inferior because you don't have the same achievements as someone else. But really, comparisons are always going to be unfair because you're not taking into account the whole story either, right? So everyone has their own unique journey. And you can only ever know a fraction of what another person is going through. So rather than comparing yourself to others, we really want to focus on that self-love and self-acceptance. So respecting yourself enough to make those choices that are best for you, and don't let anyone else's opinion of you define who you are. Because it doesn't matter. When you learn to love and accept yourself just as you are, you will be much happier and much more fulfilled. And really, like I have said before, self-love and self-acceptance and self-respect, those are the key things to really change your entire life for the better. So moving on from that, what we want to do when we start to kind of step away from that hating our bodies and really moving into that container of acceptance, we really need to start practicing self-compassion. So self-compassion is that powerful tool that can help us to kind of move through difficult times in our lives. So it's really the ability to show ourselves that kindness and understanding even when we make mistakes. Because we do, right? We all make mistakes. And self-compassion also involves kind of accepting our imperfections and taking responsibility for our own happiness. So really bringing the power back to your body. And that's something that I come back to time and time again, is really the connection back to self is so important, because so much of the things that are in our society, in our culture, is really taking the ownership and the power away from our own bodies into the hands of diet culture, into the hands of just society as a whole. So One of the barriers to self-compassion is self-criticism. It's something we can be really good at, right? That little voice inside your head. Because we can be, and most likely are, our own worst critics. Constantly beating ourselves up for our perceived flaws, right? And really, this self-hatred only serves to make us feel worse about ourselves. It can actually lead to that negative self-talk and destructive behavior. So when we come back to practicing self-compassion, then we are able to kind of let go of that self-judgment and instead treat ourselves with that care and understanding. We really learn to accept ourselves as we are, and we show compassion for our weaknesses. Because we all have weaknesses, but we also all have strengths. And so in doing so, we really develop that sense of self-respect and self-worth, which we all desire, right? So ultimately, self-compassion leads to that greater happiness and well-being. Just like the comparison, when we're able to let go of that, it also brings us that much happier and more fulfilled sense of self. I see Yesley here and Tanya. Hello, ladies. Good morning, sunshine, Tanya says. Or no, not Tanya, Yesley. So hello. So thirdly, we really need to be taking care of our bodies. And that is a big one, you guys. So the way that you take care of your body reflects the amount of self-love that you have. And that is definitely the message that I put out into the world, is that self-acceptance and self-respect, which when you have that for yourself, you are taking care of your body. So when you love yourself, you treat your body with respect by eating mindfully, choosing foods that nourish you, also letting go of that shame and guilt around food. And you also make time for movement that feels good, rather than forcing yourself to exercise out of a sense of obligation, which I know I was guilty of before. So in addition, our self-care is important to maintaining our physical and mental well-being. So really taking care of all of the different areas of our self-care, which if you don't follow Yesley, she has been going over all the different areas of self-care this past week, and she brings so much value and so much knowledge to that area. So be sure to go check her out. So when we take care of ourselves, going back to that and really connecting back to the body, it really helps to maintain that physical and mental well-being that we all desire, right? So this can really include practices like getting enough sleep, spending time outdoors, taking a relaxing bath. By making self-care a priority, you can really show yourself how much you matter. And ultimately, taking care of your body is an act of self-love. So when we are able to treat ourselves with care and respect, we can really cultivate that deep sense of self-worth. And that is really the end goal, right? Because as you do that, you guys, you will really realize that you can do anything and you have the power to create the life you want, and you show up with confidence. And that's something that really, it doesn't get the credit that it deserves. That self-love really does change so many different areas of your life. It changes your relationship with your spouse, with your kids, your career, how you show up for your career. Following passions and pursuits that really set your soul on fire. So all these things start to happen, you guys, when you can focus and bring your awareness and your manifesting and your intention setting all back to that self-love, self-care, self-respect piece. And really the body acceptance piece too, right? So Yesley says, that has been a huge realization in my journey. And yes, I love learning and sharing. Thank you. Yes, Yesley is one of my good friends, but also she is in the Self-Love Revolution program with me. And I love watching her bloom and grow and shine in her journey. So it's been so exciting to kind of be each other's cheerleaders in this life, right? So anyway, so that is really just some 3 really inspiring ways to start to realize that we really need to stop hating our body. And those 3 ways that I described today are really just some very surface level things that you can start to do to accept yourself today. So, stop the comparison, practice that self-compassion, and really take care of your body. So I hope that was helpful for you guys, and I hope you found some inspiration or some motivation to take into your day with you. So with that being said, make sure that you are in my group, Self-Love at Any Size, and that you have subscribed to the YouTube channel. And yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. So I hope that you have the best day. Thank you so much for those of you that tuned in, and we will see you guys next time. So have the best day. Bye.